rolling.
Stuart, Skelton, hi.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. I know you're here in Beijing for performances to Valkyrie at the Beijing Music Festival. It's 2017.
Indeed.
You've had a huge success. The press have loved it.
Have they? That's great news. I'm very, very pleased to hear that. That's wonderful.
Is this your first Beijing performance?
No. I was here probably 10 years ago as part of the Beijing Music Festival with Jonathan Knott and the Bamberger Symphonica. We did Das Lied von der Erde. And Lang Lang played a Mozart piano concerto in the first half of the concert. So it's some time ago, but it's a pleasure to be back, and a pleasure to be back with something that's obviously been so well received. It's really exciting.
Well, there's a lot of people in China are interested in what is a Helden tenor. Now, this is a bit of an obvious question, but it's a very specific thing, and people are fascinated by the concept because it's something special. Could you explain to us what it is?
Yes, I guess the term Helden tenor was applied retroactively to give us a name for the category of roles that were written by Richard Wagner. Siegfried, Parsifal, Tannhäuser, Tristan, Siegmund, those roles. That name Helden tenor was applied retroactively. It literally translates as heroic tenor. From German. And I think the thing that sets a Helden tenor apart is the fact that most of the roles that, particularly with Wagner, that you're singing are quite long. So there's a combination of enough amplitude, enough noise, and enough stamina for that noise over time. I think that's the easiest way to describe it, is being able to produce enough noise over 5 hours.
That's quite a good definition. Loud and long.
Yeah, quite.
Loud and long. Very simple, guys. Would you think of yourself as a baritone with a fantastic top range, or a tenor with a really good sort of lower range?
I think if you asked 100 people, you'd get 50% of either side. I've always considered myself a tenor with a decent bottom range, but I don't know that there's much technical difference between the two at some level. I only sing tenor repertoire. I just happen to sing tenor repertoire that where some of the role is written in the lower half of the voice, where I'm comfortable. So I think that's I'm very lucky that I get to sing some of the things that seem to be that suit what my voice is able to do as well as it does.
And I mean, people will say, well, is that luck? Is that genetics? Is that your build? I mean, there's an inner athleticism in singing, which I think a lot of people don't understand, which is about these two little vocal cords.
Exactly.
And what you have to do with that instrument
to get them to behave themselves over time. Yeah, exactly. There is some.
Do you have a regime? I mean, how do you work that?
Well, I do. I mean, the interesting thing with Wagner particularly is because the roles are so long and so vocally and physically demanding. The regime outside of actually performing is relatively light, only because there's no point leaving all of that noise in the dressing room or in a practice room. So the day of a performance, I always have a very standard 10-minute vocal warm-up, I guess is best description of it. And it's just enough to make sure that for my own self-confidence, that everything I'm going to need for that performance is there once. I don't need to sing the whole thing through in the dressing room beforehand. Just enough that everything's physically warmed up enough, so when the performance starts, when the curtain goes out and you're ready to go, that you'll have everything you need for that performance and everything will line up in the way that you're hoping.
And that's the physical bit. There must be a mental challenge as well, because you're singing these enormously long roles. First of all, it's a huge amount of music to learn.
Yes.
But also, you're aware of the fact in the really big roles, there's a lot to come.
There's a lot to come, yes. There's a lot of concentration because you're concentrating on actually the performance, the singing. You're concentrating on the story that you're telling, and you're concentrating on the story that's being told to you by whoever else you're appearing on stage with at the time. So you're having to really tell the story and receive the story in a way that makes it seem like you're hearing the story for the first time. Of course you're not, because we've learned everything, we've memorised the whole performance. And you're right, the other thing, that you have a constant awareness, particularly in long roles like, say, Tristan, that whatever you're singing in Act 1 and 2, you know that you have to be able to do Act 3, and Act 3 is, for Tristan, is really very, very vocally demanding. He really doesn't stop until he dies. So you're always aware of, and in each role for me, I have little physical signposts during the performance where I know if at this point in the opera and my voice feels like this, I'm in good shape.
So you
little tiny little sign. I sort of check in with myself occasionally. I've got to this point in the opera. How does it feel? It feels like, okay, that's a good feeling. I know that I'll check in again in another 20 minutes to see if it still feels at that 20 minutes the same. And sometimes, one of the things about Tristan particularly is that you know you will hit the wall in Act 3. It's not a question of if. You will hit it. It's a question of when and how late into Act 3 you hit that wall. Hopefully you can move it out as far as you can, and how you then husband your resources to the end of the show.
To get to the end. And it's interesting you use the term the wall, because it is an athletic skill to manage the body's resources, which are finite, they're always finite.
Yes, absolutely.